For our My Favorite Pathogen project, we chose HIV, which is also known as the human immunodeficiency virus. It is one of the most well-known viruses around the world, so you might already know a little bit about it. HIV is a lentivirus, which is a subgroup of retrovirus, and it is characterized by long incubation periods. It causes chronic and deadly diseases and is most commonly found in human and other mammalian species, including cats and dogs. HIV is very dangerous because it attacks a specific type of immune system cell in the body known as the helper cell or T cell. When HIV destroys the cell, it becomes harder for the body to fight off other infections. When HIV is left untreated, even a minor infection, such as a cold, can become much more severe. The complete sequence of the HIV-1 genome has been solved to single nucleotide resolution. The HIV genome encodes 16 viral proteins to invade host cells and hijack their internal machineries. HIV is different in structure from other retroviruses. The HIV virion is 100 nanometers in diameter. Its innermost region consists of a cone-shaped core that includes 2 copies of the positive sense ssRNA genome, the enzymes reverse transcriptase, integrase and protease, some minor proteins, and the major core protein. The enveloped glycoproteins, which are the only proteins on the surface of the virus, are the major targets for the HIV vaccine efforts. Seeing that HIV is a virus, it doesn't eat or breathe, but rather hijacks its host and uses its protection and energy production to multiply and spread. HIV most likely mutated from the simian immunodeficiency virus, or SIV, and was then passed on from the West African type of chimpanzee to humans through contact with the blood of the non-human primates. It is thought by most that after the first humans were infected with the human immunodeficiency virus, it spread throughout Africa and eventually the rest of the world. In the 1980s, young gay men and other people in homosexual relationships began being diagnosed with rare forms of cancer and pneumonia that could not be explained. People started to become aware of HIV, and in 1982, Canada reported its first case. Since then, more money has been put into research to find and develop a cure for this deadly infection. More and more facts have come to light, such as HIV being a sexually transmitted infection. It became known that not only gay men can be affected by HIV, but also women and other men in heterosexual relationships can receive it as well. People learned that it can be passed on from mother to children through breastfeeding, and can be spread through the contact of broken skin, wounds, or other mucous membranes. It can also be transmitted through HIV-infected needles. And in 1990, 8 to 10 million people were thought to be living with HIV globally. In 2017, there were about 37 million people living with HIV and AIDS. You may experience many signs and symptoms in the first 2 to 4 weeks after being infected with the human immunodeficiency virus. You may experience something similar to a flu, which includes things such as fever, nausea, vomiting, persistent diarrhea, chronic fatigue, rapid weight loss, cough and shortness of breath, reoccurring chills and night sweats, rashes and sores in the mouth or nose, on the genitals, or under the skin. It is important that you seek medical attention immediately if you are experiencing some or all of these symptoms, and it is important to get tested regularly if you are sexually active. HIV is most contagious in the first 2 to 4 weeks after being infected. After that period, it may take years for symptoms to show again, and in some cases, there can be no signs of symptoms for up to 10 years. Many wonder what the future is like for people who have been diagnosed with HIV. If treated early and it doesn't develop into AIDS, also known as acquired immune deficiency syndrome, you will most likely live. However, the mortality rate is high among people who develop stage 3 HIV or AIDS, but luckily, the majority can live fairly healthy lives with regular antiretroviral therapy. In 2017, 940,000 people died of AIDS-related illnesses around the world. This number has been reduced by more than 51%, or 1.9 million people, since its peak in 2004. In recent years, the international community has made efforts to provide universal access to HIV prevention and treatment, and a 20-year-old started on HIV therapy can expect to live to his or her early 70s. Sadly, there is no cure for HIV yet, but there are ways that you can prevent yourself and your partner from getting HIV. It is important to use protection if you are sexually active and get tested before you have an intimate relationship with someone else. If you are at risk of getting HIV, you can do pre-exposure prophylaxis, which is taking an HIV medicine every day to decrease your chance of becoming infected. Having an STI can increase your likelihood of becoming infected with HIV, so get tested and, if necessary, treated. Don't inject drugs, but if you must, make sure the needles you use are sanitary. Also, pregnant women with HIV can take HIV medication to protect their own health and the health of their child. The child also has to take HIV medicine after birth for 4 to 6 weeks to make sure that they do not acquire the infection. Today, HIV has reached every corner of the globe, although some regions are more heavily affected than others. There were approximately 40 million people worldwide living with HIV and AIDS in 2017. Of these, 1.8 million were children, and it has been estimated that about 5,000 new individuals are infected per day. A staggering 95% of HIV-infected individuals live in developing countries, where 2/3 of them are found in sub-Saharan Africa. There, over 28 million people are thought to be living with HIV. And here are some other interesting facts that you probably did not know about HIV. Although nearly 40 million people are living with HIV and 2 million individuals are affected every year, only 75% of them actually know they have the virus. Homosexual and bisexual men of all races are the most radically affected by the human immunodeficiency virus in the US and here in Canada. And during the time that you watch this video, or around every 9.5 minutes, someone is diagnosed with HIV in the US. So make sure that wherever you go and with whoever you go, you use protection and stay safe. Thank you for watching.